All right, all right. What's going on, everyone out there? I hope you're having a great day right now, wherever you are, wherever this video is finding you. I hope it's finding you in great spirits and great peace. Real quickly, guys, I just want to get into how to find a real estate deal in 2023. Like, how are wholesalers finding deals right now? How are cash buyers finding deals? How are buy and hold investor finding deals? How are fix and flippers finding deals right now in 2023? And how am I finding deals right now in 2023? And only how am I finding them? How am I evaluating them, right? Well, I'll say this. I don't really want to get into how I'm finding deals because we have an event going on March 23rd from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. How to find crazy deals. It's in my Instagram profile link. So go check it out. It's 2023. I don't know when you're going to watch this video, but I'm not going to get into how to find these deals. More so about how to evaluate these deals, which is going to be the biggest thing, okay? So remember, how to evaluate. Evaluate, right? Evaluate is the biggest thing, right? I see so many wholesalers and people posting deals on Facebook, sending deals to me via Instagram, texting me, calling me, and they're just bringing me these deals, and they're not deals. They're not even deals in the market before COVID. And I'm just like, where are you getting these numbers from, right? So number one thing is just to remember this when you're trying to find a deal is that you just got to make sure you're finding a distressed property owner, right? So that's first and foremost, okay? First and foremost, you want to make sure you are targeting distress, okay? You need a distressed property owner. Distress and distressed property owner, okay? There has to be something going on. Foreclosure, something to where this person needs to sell this property at a discount, okay? It makes no sense for you to be trying to wholesale a deal that's on market at full market value. Yeah, that person wants to sell, but they want full market value for the property. So why are you trying to wholesale that deal? You're spending your energy in an area that you're wasting your time in, and you can be focusing on finding distressed property owners. It's hard, but you can do it, right? It's not that hard. It's just hard because you don't want to do it. But once you do it, it becomes automatic, and it's not hard because this is what you're targeting, right? And you're seeing results. So number one is you just want to make sure you're targeting distress, right? That's the biggest thing. And when you target that distress, you want to get to the heart of that person. You want to find that pain point, right? That's number two, is just finding the pain point. Where's the pain? Okay? Where's the pain? What are the issues, right? What problem needs to be solved, right? So the pain point, pre-foreclosure. What's going on? Why do they need to sell? What's going on in their lives right now? Why they need to sell this property, okay? And once you get through all of that, right, we're no longer doing this formula. I know somebody talked about doing this. We're not doing this formula right now. I'm not doing this whole 0.70 times the ARV minus repairs equals your offer, right? So that's the old school way of doing this, right? So let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about that, right? So this old school way of doing this whole 0.70 times the ARV minus the repairs, right? So let's say, for instance, the ARV on the property, right? Let's say, for instance, the ARV on the property is, give me a second here, guys. Let's say the ARV on the property is, let's say the ARV on the property is 240. Okay? Let's say it's 240. All right? And let's say that you looked at this property and you know that it needs about $45,000 in rehab and repairs, right? So we're going to do 240 times 0.70, and that's going to give you 168. Okay? 168, right? And you know this property needs about $40,000 in repairs, right? So you're going to subtract that $40,000 from this, okay? And this is going to give you $128,000 on what it is right now. Then you want to subtract your assignment fee. Say you want to make $15,000 on it. That means you're going to be around $113,000 on the asking price on this property at 240, and that's about right. That's right. That is technically about right. Okay, that's the formula you want to use right now. Okay, That works for some people. And this technically works when you don't have a mortgage. But for me, I like to go a little bit deeper. Okay? This is not wrong. Okay? It's not wrong. People are talking about it. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with this. Do I use this still? A little bit. But that's not the final stamp. And I want to talk about the final stamp, right? Because this final stamp is going to be way, way, way more intentional, and it's going to get you a larger assignment fee, right? You want to get a larger assignment fee compared to just doing it this way. You can get some more cushion on that assignment fee, right? So how do you do that? You want to find out what's on the property, if there's a mortgage or not, okay? This is game right here. Is there a mortgage on the property, all right? So let's say, for instance, this deal is here, right? But let's say, for instance, there's a mortgage balance of about $75,000. Okay, there's a mortgage on the property at about $75,000. Okay, so if you offer the 113, they're going to technically walk away with about $38,000, according to this, right? And it works. But I like to get a little bit more intentional. So when I know there's a mortgage on the property and I ask them, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I know obviously you want to sell this property right now, and we're kind of talking about numbers right now, just for title clearance purposes. Is there a mortgage on the home right now? I need to know this because I'm going to have to draw that up in the agreement either way it goes. Is there a mortgage on the property? Oh, yes, there's a mortgage. Okay, awesome. What's the mortgage balance on the property right now? And sometimes they'll tell you right then and there. And then sometimes they'll be kind of hesitant, like, I'm not going to tell you that. That's going to give away this. They're like, oh, okay. Well, no, I just wanted to know because I'm going to have to put that into the actual document when we get ready to go ahead and get things going with closing. So I just kind of wanted to know what the mortgage balance was on the property. You want to find that mortgage balance out. You want to find it out. You want to find the mortgage balance because you can start making offers based off the mortgage balance rather than making offers based off the ARV doing the formula times 0.70. Because what you're doing, you're leaving money on the table. I just made my largest assignment fee in January, $40,000, just by making sure I knew what that mortgage balance was. Because I could have just went in there with a blind offer, looked at the ARV, 0.70, looked at the repairs, and they would have took it. But because I got to their mortgage balance and I began to ask them, how much do you really need to walk away with, right? I begin to act distressed, but also in control, right? What do I mean by that? How do I act distressed, but also in control? What I do is I say, hey, look, I really want to buy this property. And now I'm acting distressed a little bit. I really want to buy this property. I'm really interested, but there's only so much I can do. I can only go so far with, my offer. I'm really interested in the property. I know that I can close on this home. I'm not the richest guy in the world, but I'm not poor either. I have awesome capital partners that I work with, and they lend on my deals, right? It's just like cash. They wire, bam, bam, and I close. So it's like I have the cash right now. I do. I have great relationships with my lenders and my banks. That's how I buy my real estate. And I know what they're going to lend on, what they're going to say yes to, what they're going to say no to. I know like the back of my hand. And I just don't want to over leverage myself, and I just want to make sure that we're doing something here, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, that works for the both of us. It needs to be a win for you, a win for me, and more importantly, I solve your problem, right? So I know this house is worth this and this house is worth that. I can definitely pay off your mortgage. I can definitely put some cash in your pocket. So how much do you need to walk away with in your hand after you're done signing everything? How much do you need to walk away with in your pocket? If I can get about $20,000, about $25,000, maybe $20,000, maybe 15, 20, somewhere in that range, that'll work for me. So between $15,000 to $20,000, that'll work for you. $15,000 plus $75,000 is $90,000. $20,000 is $95,000. I got them under six figures. But if I would have went in there with that 0.70 ARV, I would have left money on the table. This formula is actually leaving money on the table. It's not deep enough. And all of this comes from talking to them, building rapport, building trust, finding out what's going on. And you can get deeper deals and you're making offers based off the mortgage not on the ARV. And I know that's probably cracking some of your minds right now. Don't make offers based off the ARV. Make offers based off the mortgage balance. Because you do that, your offer is going to be lower than the ARV, and it's going to make sense. Right? And if there is not a mortgage on the property, you can look at this as the second option. If there is not a mortgage on the property, then we can't talk about what we're talking about. What do you do if there's not a mortgage balance on the property? I'm coming in automatically 50% to 60% of the ARV. And it's probably going to almost end up being this. And I don't know why people just don't say, give me 50%, 60% of the ARV. That's what it needs to be. So if the ARV on the property is $240,000 and I come in at 60%, that's about $144,000. At 60%, it's $144,000. I'm going to put this under the 0.60, okay? And then obviously at 50%, it's going to be right there, half of 240, and it's 120. Okay? Off rip, right? So these two formulas, they work, okay? It depends on who you are, depends on what's going on. I like to just come in at 50% of the ARV. If I know the house can sell for 300, I'm at 150. I'm at 150, 120. And sometimes I like to take 10 or 15% off of that 120 based off the house and the condition of the property and what's going on. Because sometimes this won't work. This won't work because you got to know what the repairs are. If you don't know what the repairs are, it's going to be kind of hard to evaluate it. But see, don't get confused by, oh, well, Stephen, if you do 0.50, your offer is higher than this formula. Well, no, that's only because it's $40,000 in repairs. What if it's more than $40,000? Then that offer is probably going to be higher than this. That's why, I hope that made sense. I hope you caught that. Why is this higher than this? That's just because I guessed that the repairs were $40,000. I guessed that. Every house is not going to have $40,000 in repairs. They're going to have less sometimes or more. And that's why that number is like that with this. That's why this is kind of tricky. That's why I like to just be at 0.50 of the ARV. If the house is like, if I look at it and I can see this house is going to need some work, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely 50% of the ARV. But if I know this property doesn't need that much work, I'm like, then I can kind of work with this formula, right? So what do I do? How do I evaluate that, right? So let me break that down right quick. Stay with me, guys, because this is where it's going to get good, and this is where the information is going to help you out, all right? There's something that I use. It's called Freeps, okay? So Freaps, all right? Freeps. How do we evaluate real estate in 2023? We're talking about numbers, right? How do you get to that repair stuff, right? We're talking about Freeps, okay? So let's get into the Freeps. All right, this is an acronym that I use to evaluate my properties. F is for a foundation. Okay. Is it pier and beam, or is it, slab? Right? And then for the roof, R is for roof, okay? E is going to be for electricity. A is going to be for HVAC. Okay? Is it going to be, is it central or window units? Okay? And then with the electricity, is it copper wiring or aluminum? Okay? You need to know about copper or aluminum wiring, because one is outdated and one is updated, right? You need to know. When it comes down to plumbing, right? You want to know P is for plumbing. P is for plumbing. And you want to know if it's PEX. I think I'm spelling that correctly. If it's PVC. If it's galvanized. And I believe there's one more. Okay? You want to know what kind of plumbing it is. If it's all galvanized, it's got to get updated. If it's PEX, that's good because it kind of stretches when it freezes. But if it's PVC, it's updated, but it has a really strong chance of bursting when the freeze comes, right? And then also with plumbing, you want to incorporate, is there any gas or gas lines on the property? Because typically plumbers are the ones that handle the gas lines. They have the same type of like structure and the way the way it works, right? So you want to know if it's gas lines, okay? And then also with plumbing, I also include the water heater with plumbing. Okay? Is it, what year is the water heater? How old is it, right? Even with the AC, how old is it? How old? Right? And then also with AC, it's more than just the outside condenser on the AC. You have the inside thermostat furnace, and then you have the outside. A lot of people like to update the outside, but they leave the inside original. Okay, and then some people will update the inside, but leave the outside condenser the same, right? You got to ask those questions about the AC. Ask these questions about the plumbing, right? Gas line, right? You want to know, like with foundation, if there was any work done, is the work transferable? Is the warranty transferable? The roof, once you get it replaced and done, is that warranty transferable? All that matters. All that matters, right, when you're talking. And then we're going to get into the S, and we're going to talk about the structure of the property. Okay? So when I talk about structure, I'm really talking about the cosmetics. Okay? You're talking about bathrooms, kitchen, the floors, paint, drywall. Even though it's outside, I just put it here because we're talking about cosmetics. The landscaping, pool, doors, air vents, the hardware, the border and trim, right? All this stuff, right? The lighting, access lighting, and access recess lighting, all that, right? All this gets into the structure of the property. Ceiling stuff, ceiling fans, ceiling fans, right? All this stuff. There's any mold, termite damage in the wood. All this stuff, right? The list goes on. You got to ask these questions. You got to ask the questions about all this stuff here. All this here. You have to be asking the questions about this before you get to that. A lot of people like to go here first and try to work the seller on the number without going through all of this. And that's where a lot of wholesalers mess up and investors mess up, is they want to get straight to the numbers. And what they did not talk about was the person, their distress, plus the condition of the home. That comes first before the offer. Okay? Whether you're door knocking, cold calling, texting, getting on the phone with someone, this comes first. Well, this comes first. The person comes first. Then their property. Then the numbers. Order of operation. Order of operation. Person, place, and the things. Person, the place, and the things. In that order. Okay? That's how you evaluate a real estate deal in 2023. See you soon, guys. Take care.